At the outset, I would like to offer my humble pranams to Bhagwan Baba, whose grace alone is making it possible for me to broadcast this series over Radio Sai. Loving Sai Ram and greetings from Prashanti Nilayam. Today, I wish to start on the Sundara Kandam. This particular Kandam is somewhat unique in that, unlike in the other Kandams, Rama is mostly absent and he appears only towards the end. As a narrative, it is largely about Hanuman and his tireless, single-handed search for Sita in faraway Lanka lying across a vast ocean. At the same time, as a part of the story of the Lord, its uniqueness lies in the manner in which Valmiki celebrates one-pointed devotion. At the end of the previous Kandam, namely the Kishkinda Kandam, we saw Hanuman heading all by himself towards the Mahendra mountain by the side of the ocean. Having arrived at the foot of the mountain, he then walked to and fro for a while to loosen his limbs. Head held high and radiating power as well as confidence, Hanuman stood majestically, deep in thought and looking like a mighty lion. Snapping suddenly into action, he then gazed at the mountain before him, admiring its beauty. The mountain was rich not only in flora and fauna of various kinds, but was also frequently visited by the Yakshas. Preparing to jump, Hanuman next climbed to the top and saluted in turn the major gods of heaven, including Surya and Indra, starting of course with Brahma, the creator. Finally, turning east, he offered special salutations to his father Vayu, the wind god. The worships of the gods over, Hanuman stood facing south, since that was where Lanka was. For a while, Hanuman gazed at the vast ocean in front of him. Appreciating fully the challenge the sea presented, he promptly assumed almost mountainous proportion. Crouching low, he then pressed the Mahendra mountain with both his hands and feet. The enormous pressure exerted by Hanuman produced huge tremors that caused trees in the neighborhood to shed their flowers. Many of these flowers fell on Hanuman, totally covering him, making him look like a mountain of flowers. The shock waves generated by Hanuman also terrified the animals living in caves, while snakes came out of the ground in large numbers with their hoods spread. Ascetics living on the mountain also fled, thinking they were being attacked by a demon. Watching all this from above, the denizens of heaven joyfully cried, "Hail to Hanuman, the son of the great Vayu, who is about to do the impossible, namely, cross the ocean as a part of his service to Rama." Meanwhile, Hanuman vigorously shook his body to loosen the muscles, crouched his waist, contracted his feet, and bent his shoulders and neck to draw up great reserves of energy. After briefly glancing at the sky above and the horizon ahead, he took a deep breath and leapt forward. And as he became airborne, he roared to the Vanaras he was leaving behind, "Speeding like the wind, I shall head for Lanka to look for Sita. If I do not find her there, I shall fly to heaven to look for her there. If there too I draw a blank, I shall rush back to Lanka, destroy it completely, take Ravana captive and come back." As Hanuman sped ahead, the tremendous suction created by his takeoff tore off a large number of flowering trees, which then followed him in the wake. Valmiki notes that this was a wonderful sight, rather like a king being ceremoniously followed by soldiers in special uniform. Shortly thereafter, the trees dropped into the sea. Eyes blazing, a flower deck Hanuman of gigantic proportions, streaked with lightning speed, looking like a meteor shooting across the sky. So powerful were the air currents set up by Hanuman that, impacting the surface of the ocean below, they generated huge waves, parting the waters to such an extent that whales, turtles, crocodiles, and fishes of various kinds could be clearly seen. It seemed as if the clothes of the ocean had been ripped off to reveal what was below. The huge shadow cast by the flying Hanuman on the ocean surface followed him, even as the gods above profusely showered flowers on him. By way of serving the servant of God, the sun god Surya took special pains to see that Hanuman did not get scorched, while Maruti's father Vayu made his own special contribution by providing a cool breeze all along. Even as the gods were assisting and serving Hanuman in various ways, the Lord of the ocean said to himself, "I exist because of the monumental sacrifices of Emperor Sagara of the Ikshvaku dynasty. Right now, Hanuman, the son of Vayu, is flying over me towards Lanka on a critical mission on behalf of Rama, descended from Sagara. Like all others, I too have to serve Hanuman in some manner or the other." Having resolved to be of service, the ocean god then said to Mount Mainaka, one of the submerged mountains, "O great mountain who has the power to either raise or lower yourself, soon Hanuman would be flying over you. All of us have a duty to help Hanuman, currently engaged in a critical mission on behalf of Rama of the Ikshvaku dynasty, to which we all owe our very existence. Please, can you quickly raise yourself and become a resting pad for the speeding Hanuman, besides offering some hospitality?" Responding immediately, Mainaka raised itself to a suitable height above the sea level, positioning itself suitably to allow Hanuman to land and take a short break. Even as Mount Mainaka rose above the sea with the noblest of intentions, spotting a mountain suddenly appearing from the sea, Hanuman interpreted it to be an obstruction deliberately offered to him by a hostile agency. Determined not to allow any barrier or obstacle to delay him in the least, he promptly smote the mountain with great power, toppling it down instantly. Though struck in anger by Hanuman, Mainaka did not take any offense whatsoever. On the contrary, using the power inherent in it, Mainaka assumed a human form and, standing on its own peak, pleaded with the Vanara to take a short break and accept some hospitality. Mainaka also took the opportunity to point out how it was personally indebted to Hanuman. It said, "O Hanuman, in the Krita Yuga that preceded the present Treta Yuga, mountains had wings and could fly, indeed as fast as the gods Garuda and Vayu. Jealous of this amazing ability, Indra promptly cut off the wings of thousands of mountains, all of which then crashed to the earth. Indra then came towards me, but before he could attack, I was tossed high into the air by your noble father Vayu. I then crashed into the sea, with, however, my wings intact. Having been saved by your father, I have a special duty to serve you. Please, therefore, do rest on me for at least a small while and partake of my modest hospitality, even if it be just a little." Deeply touched, Hanuman responded from the air, even as he continued his journey. Expressing gratitude, he said, "O noble mountain, I am unable to thank you adequately for your generous offer. I am sorry that in my hurry I inadvertently caused hurt to you. But then I was totally unaware of all that happened before, as a result of which I mistook you to be an enemy agent. Your gracious words are hospitality enough, and considering the urgency of my mission, I sincerely hope you would not mind if I do not tarry." Watching from heaven, the Devas were thrilled. For his part, Indra, the Lord of Heaven, who in an earlier era had attacked the mountain, now praised Mainaka and blessed it. As Hanuman sped across the skies towards Lanka, the denizens of heaven said to Surasa, the mother of Nagas, "Hanuman, the son of Vayu, is flying over the ocean, and you must test him by offering a suitable obstacle. If you fail to do so, you would be punished." Responding to the order, Surasa assumed the form of a huge demon and, positioning herself in the path of Hanuman, said as he came close by, "O best among the Vanaras, the Devas have offered you to me as food. Therefore, enter my mouth as I open it." With a smiling face and folded palms, Hanuman replied, even as he continued to fly, "Right now, I am on an important mission on behalf of Rama, the son of Dasaratha. In fact, given the nature of the task I am engaged in, you really ought to help me instead of trying to swallow me. I have given my word and have no option but to complete this task. If you let me go now, I promise I shall come back later and offer myself as a meal." So Surasa replied, "O son of Vayu, I have to eat you and there is no way you can stop me. Thanks to the boon I have been granted, no one can overcome me, including you. It is therefore best for you to submit to me without a struggle." When Hanuman appeared to summarily ignore her, Surasa became angry and said, "Hanuman, you had better know this. Long ago, Brahma gave me the boon that you would enter my mouth, and that boon cannot be falsified." Hanuman, who was in a great hurry, was in no mood to listen to the story of someone else's boons, and as a sign of his determination to keep moving, increased his size to even greater proportion. There then ensued a competition, with Surasa increasing the size of her mouth and Hanuman making himself bigger than Surasa's mouth. This went on for a few rounds, when Hanuman suddenly shrank himself to a very small size, entered Surasa's mouth with lightning speed, and came out equally fast. He then said to the demon, "O daughter of Daksha, you wanted me to enter your mouth and I have done it. Your boon has been fulfilled, and so you must now let me go ahead unimpeded." Pleased with what had happened, Surasa said, "O mighty Hanuman, all this was just a test of your courage, strength and ingenuity that was demanded by the Devas. You have acquitted yourself brilliantly and I congratulate you. I wish you all the best in your mission to reunite Sita with Rama." Hanuman continued speeding towards Lanka, served en route by various denizens of heaven who did not delay him even for one moment. The journey was not smooth though, for now a new demoness named Simika saw the flying Vanara and decided he would be her next meal. A standard practice of trapping a flying prey was to first catch hold of the shadow cast on the surface of the water and make that victim immobile. She would then seize the prey and eat it. Proceeding in her usual manner, Simika caught hold of the huge shadow cast by Hanuman on the water, and the moment she did so, Hanuman felt a huge pullback. Transforming himself into a huge and grotesque animal and rising from the sea, Simika opened her mouth wide with the intention of swallowing the brave Vanara. Hanuman promptly recognized the animal to be none other than Simika in disguise. Followed then a contest in which both tried to outdo the other by growing bigger in size in order to create fear. This went on a few times until Hanuman suddenly shrank himself to a very small size, zoomed through the wide open mouth of Simika and penetrated deep inside. Lodging himself amongst the inner organs, Hanuman tore them up with lightning speed, causing her to collapse and crash into the sea. Cheering wildly, the Siddhas and the Charanas said in one voice, "O brave Vanara, 4 important qualities are needed for the accomplishment of any great task, namely courage, vision, intellect, and skill. Every one of these virtues is present in you. Nothing can therefore stop you in your mission. Success is guaranteed. Good luck and may God bless you. A little later, Hanuman saw some signs of land in the distant horizon. Promptly, he slowed down in preparation for landing and shortly thereafter made the touchdown. At last, he was actually standing on the soil of Lanka that once seemed so far away and unapproachable. The moment Hanuman realized that he was actually in Lanka, he instantly reverted to his normal size to avoid attracting undue attention, even as he began to contemplate on his next step. It was clear that before venturing any further, he should first try and get a feel for the island from where he was. Ahead of him stood Mount Trikuta, and deciding to make it his observation post, Hanuman quickly reached its top, from where he had the first glimpse of the great city of Lanka, far in the distance and located on top of another mountain. One look and Hanuman realized that Lanka was truly exceptional, comparable perhaps only to Amaravati, the capital city of Indra. Descending from the summit and standing at ease on the slope of the mountain, Hanuman then surveyed the surroundings carefully all the way from his immediate neighborhood, which was full of groves and forests, right up to the city of Lanka. After taking in all the details, Hanuman then cautiously made his way to the city, which was well protected by guards and surrounded by deep moats. On reaching the northern gate, Hanuman paused and reflected. This Lanka is indeed well secured, and even the gods cannot conquer it. That being the case, it does not seem that we Vanaras could do much, even if we managed to come here. Even as such thoughts were racing through his mind, Hanuman shook his head, saying to himself, "What am I doing here wasting my time? I have come to this island to look for noble daughter of Emperor Janaka and not for making war plans. Those can wait. Obviously, if I have to look for Sita, I have to first gain entry into the city, which is best done at night, when I might be able to sneak in without being easily spotted." Hanuman then just sat there waiting for darkness to set in, while observing keenly and taking in as much as he could. Finally, when night fell and the moon slowly rose, Hanuman climbed back to the peak of Trikuta, used it as a launch pad, and leapt onto one of the city's perimeter protection wall. From this vantage point, Hanuman got a much closer look at Lanka and was wonderstruck by the city's magnificence as well as opulence. Even as he was admiring Ravana's achievement in building a city of matchless grandeur, Hanuman noticed an ugly ogress creeping up to him, making no secret of her evil intentions. On coming close to him, the Rakshasi addressed Hanuman, "O monkey, who are you, and what brings you here? Lanka is considered impenetrable, and yet you have managed to come here. How did you do it?" Hanuman responded with a counter question. "O gory creature with ugly eyes, you first tell me who you are. After knowing your identity, I shall reveal who I am." Greatly offended, the ogress said testily, "I am the one who guards and protects this great city. In a sense, I am personification of Lanka. No one can get past me, which means that pretty soon you are going to be put to permanent sleep." Noticing that the one who was confronting him was a female, Hanuman abandoned the thought of killing her immediately. Instead, he decided to play her along and said in a seemingly innocent voice, "I am a very curious person, and I just felt like seeing this place because it is so full of magnificent mansions and surrounded by such wonderful forests as well as groves." The ogress, who clearly did not believe one word of what Hanuman said, replied sharply, "You are not going on any tour of this city, until you get past me, and that, I assure you, is not going to be easy. Maintaining his pretense, Hanuman gently responded, Lady, I assure you that after I see the city, I shall go back the way I come. Surely you cannot object to that. Deciding that enough was enough, the Rakshasi dealt a powerful blow to Hanuman. Not the one to take any assault lying, Hanuman promptly smote her back with equal ferocity. Realizing that she had met more than her match, the ogress then said in a faltering voice, Calm down, O monkey. I am sure you are aware that no person, especially a brave one like you, ever kills a woman. Till now, no unauthorized person could get past me, and for the first time, I have been subdued by an adversary. Long ago, Brahma the Creator prophesied that the day I am overwhelmed by a monkey is the day that would mark the beginning of the end for Rakshasas. That day appears to have come, and Ravana's days now appear to be numbered. I am sure it's all connected with his abduction of Sita. In fact, I get the feeling that in truth, you are here actually to search for Sita. Enter the city, please, and look around as much as you want. Having cleared his first obstacle, Hanuman leapt over the wall and entered the city rather than walking through the gate, which the guardian Rakshasi was quite willing to permit. Walking slowly along the main avenue, Hanuman carefully peeped into every house to see if there was any sign of Sita. The city was full of buildings, varying widely in size as well as style. In some, he heard people singing, while in others he noticed people studying the Vedas, absorbed in yogic practices, and so on. Here and there he also spotted spies. Slowly, Hanuman came near the gymnasium in the center of the city, right in front of which was a massive garrison housing about 100,000 of the best troops deployed for guard duty. All that protection, however, did not prevent Hanuman from gaining entry into the private quarters of the palace staff and the women of the royal household. By now the moon was at the zenith, illuminating the scene brilliantly. As Hanuman stood silently and looked around, he noticed that before him was a large complex of multi-storied buildings, each with couples, some sleeping and others romancing. Extensive and intensive though Hanuman's scrutiny was, he could not see any sign of Sita's presence anywhere. Outside the palace complex, there was heavy security, but inside there was very little of it, as a result of which Hanuman was able to wander at will and inspect where he chose. Proceeding thus, the brave Vanara eventually spotted Ravana's palace, standing out as the grandest mansion in the whole of Lanka. However, before entering the king's palace and conducting his search there, Hanuman first carefully explored residences of top Rakshasas like Ravana's brother Kumbhakarna and various senior army officers like Prahasta. Having made a Herculean effort to reach Lanka, Hanuman was determined to be as thorough as possible in his search, which was why he did not miss any place as unlikely on the basis of reasoning alone. Not finding Sita in any of the houses he had searched until then, Hanuman decided to enter Ravana's palace, since there was a high probability of Sita being held captive there. Hanuman quietly entered the palace complex, which was a huge conglomeration of buildings arranged in concentric circles. The first thing that struck Hanuman was the stunning grandeur, unbelievable opulence, and the astonishing spaciousness of the entire palace complex. And standing all by itself in the center was Ravana's private mansion, looking splendorous and studded with gold as well as gems of various kinds. It also did not escape Hanuman's notice that unlike the other buildings, Ravana's mansion was heavily guarded by well-built and armed soldiers. Hanuman first explored the garden surrounding the palace, and as he did so, he spotted Ravana's massive aerial chariot Pushpakam, a wonder in itself. Absolutely stunned by the wealth and luxury surrounding him, Hanuman, lost in wonderment, momentarily forgot his mission objective. So captivated was he by the Pushpakam that he spent quite some time exploring it. He then climbed up to the top of the aerial car from where he could get a commanding view of the surroundings. As Hanuman slowly surveyed the neighborhood, the smell of food and drinks emanating from Ravana's palace helped him to focus on the task ahead. With one leap, he landed in the palace and began searching it carefully. Every room in the palace was spacious and heavily decorated with stunning gold coverings that were embedded with gems like diamonds, corals, and pearls. Large carpets bearing beautiful and intricate designs covered the floor, while floral decorations were to be found everywhere. Incense was burning in many rooms, filling them with a pleasing fragrance. Moving silently and observing keenly, Hanuman looked carefully for the slightest indication of the presence of Sita. In room after room he saw women, many of them beautiful, some asleep, some intoxicated, others lying on the ground in stupor in awkward poses, with their clothes disheveled. Pausing for a moment, Hanuman wondered, Sita's purity is beyond description. How on earth could she be here? Am I doing the right thing to even think of searching this place? Moving forward, Hanuman then cautiously entered the room where Ravana was sleeping. Well, that's all I have for you today, and I do hope you liked today's narration. I repeat my appeal made last time asking for feedback, which is always an important element in the broadcast business. By its very nature, broadcasting is a one-way activity. However, when there is feedback, there is not only a two-way traffic, but also a loop that leads to quality enhancement and greater listener satisfaction. Thank you for being with us and all the best. As always, I offer this talk to Swami, who made it possible. Jai Sai Ram.